welcome back to my channel. My name is Candy, and today I have the month end of November sales to share with you all. And so essentially I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pull me down again. I'm going to go from November 16th to the end of the month of all the sales that I made on eBay and Poshmark. I didn't have any on Depop this time, which actually, speaking of Depop, I might consider not posting there anymore. I just feel like it's such a waste of time for me, and I don't use a cross-posting platform, so I do have to physically go in and like add it. And with Kitizen being gone now, I don't know. I've thought about going back to Mercari, but they keep making changes, so I haven't wanted to make that dive again. So at this point, I'm just going to focus on Poshmark and eBay 9 mostly, and then hopefully someday there will be another app that does pretty good, but I just don't have the faith or confidence in any of the other apps at this point. So Depop does give me sales occasionally, like I had one from the first half of November, but that was it. So, and it seems to be about that. It's just really slow, and as everybody says, when you get offers, people don't, like, they offer you, and then when you accept it, they don't actually pay for it. So it's just a waste of time most of the time anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you the sales. There is, let's see, probably about 15 items that I sold in the last half of November. And I will share each item and how much I paid for it and where I got it, like how much I sold it for, that kind of thing, how long it took to sell. So this first item is the Rainbow Zebra, and it's a baby blanket, sort of like quilted, and I put spring green, unisex, colorful, homemade. So I did some research on this, and I guess you could buy like this portion which had the rainbow unicorn like designs. You could buy like the material that had it, and then people could do what they wanted with it. So, you know, if you wanted to make a tapestry for the wall or whatever. So I did find out that there was people that have, you know, that were selling just the material scrap, but I think whoever bought this one did a really cute job making a baby blanket out of it, and then they quilted all over, and so they are kind of like unique one-of-a-kind pieces in a way, which is pretty interesting. So almost like a puzzle or something that you do at home, but it doesn't come with all the extra things. So essentially this person had to go buy the extra materials, like the green fabric. They probably bought like this red stripe and blue stripe that's at the top of the bottom, so they aren't exact matches, but close enough. And it was super cute. Definitely very colorful, and somebody out there I knew was gonna love it. And the funny story is that this item, this is what it looked like when I was at Goodwill, my husband and I, and we went shopping. I was getting stuff, he was getting stuff. So now he doesn't do what I do. He just goes and looks for like home for what he wants. He found a coffee table that he wanted for his man cave, and it was metal, like a metal frame with a glass top. And we hadn't planned on buying something like that, so we didn't bring like padding or anything. It was an hour's drive home, and so we got it like in the car. He got it loaded in the car, and then when I came out with all my bags of stuff I was gonna sell, and I was loading it up, he goes, "Hey, do you think you can run back in and buy like a couple blankets? That way I can like use it as padding, so that way the glass doesn't break." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I go back inside, and I was browsing the blanket section trying to find padding, and this looked like a moving blanket essentially, because, you know, moving blankets are kind of thinner. You know, they're usually like that blue, and then they have like that quilted almost like lined, not as elaborate quilting, but they do have like that quilted feel. So it kind of reminded me of a moving blanket when I saw it, and all you saw was this green that's on the back. Like they didn't have it folded to where you could see the colorful rainbow and yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. And they had it marked down to like, I think I'll look and see, but it was pretty low. So let's see. So I pulled it out, and I didn't even realize until I pulled it off like the rack. Like I pulled it, unhooked it, and I opened it up. I was like, oh wow. Like I totally didn't even expect that. So I purchased it on August 24th this year, and it was $3. So I thought I did a good job. I was like, that's really cute, and I can sell that. So I posted it on September 7th, Poshmark and eBay, and it sold on November 16th on Poshmark. It sold for $42. I did go down a little bit from my original listing price, but that was totally fine with me. I only paid $3, so I did earn $30.60 off that item. It's just pretty interesting of a story, and like how, like, it's just to me funny that you don't expect things. Sometimes when you see stuff like that at the store, maybe take a peek if it's a solid color. Maybe open it up if it looks like it would be like a baby blanket and see what's on the inside. Good lesson to learn. The next item is this Cotopaxi Luzon 18 lightweight hiking like travel backpack. And I'm trying to get this to go where I want it. So here's some pictures of it, and it had this like sun ray on the side. It had a little bit of wear, but overall it was in pretty good, almost like very good condition. As far as like the straps and everything goes, it was all working mechanically. There was nothing wrong with it. It just had like a little tiny bit of wear, like somebody did take it out and hike with it, and maybe they just didn't like the bag, or they didn't enjoy hiking and they're like, I'm not doing this anymore, or they just wanted it for one trip. So like here you could see there was a tiny bit of like almost like, I don't say dirt, but you know, like staining going on. And so for this item, let me highlight it so I can read it. So I bought it at Goodwill October 25th, and I paid $6.40. It was the first item I saw when I went into the store, and I went down the first aisle, and they had the purses and bags kind of on that aisle, and it just, the colors of it just screamed, and I was like, oh, and it's Cotopaxi, so I grabbed it immediately before anybody else. So I purchased it for $6.40, and then I posted it on November 16th to Poshmark and eBay. It sold literally the same day, and it sold for a purchase price of $29, and I did want it to sell fast, so I did price it just slightly lower. Plus, it was a little bit dirty, and it wasn't like perfect, so I went ahead and like kind of priced mine just on the low end, and I earned a profit of $17.12. So I was really happy to see that one go pretty quick. Oh no, I just deleted one. We'll have to come back. Well, here, let me just open it up. I just love when I accidentally, hold on, give me a second. I accidentally clicked it. It took too long, so I clicked it again, thinking I didn't click it, and then it closed the second tab. And now it's going to think about it. Probably because I am now filming. I like to line all my tabs up prior to getting on the filming thing, and my computer's not like, it's not like $1,000 computer or anything, so it's a pretty slow computer. I don't know if it's going to let me. We might have to do this at the end. I'll come back to that. So for the next item, I will say is this one, and this is, oh, now it's really not going to work. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's the Lane Bryant Moto jacket, like a lady's jacket, plus size 24. I put black, white, houndstooth, crop, short, and zip up. And so this is kind of what it looked like with this, like almost like a moto zip, which is kind of like a, almost like a diagonal in a way. It's just slightly diagonal. And this actually came out of my own closet. I did get this at Lane Bryant when I was working in real estate, and I did dress up a lot more for my job at that point, so I had a little bit more professional clothes going on, and I don't do that anymore. So there was one small stain right here on the sleeve, and I went ahead and made sure that was marked, and then I like circled it because it's kind of hard to see. The pattern really throws it, which makes it nice when you're wearing it because people don't really see that. It was super light. I also found a kind of an idea of what it looks like, so I took that photo and put it there. So anyways, this item came out of my closet, so I paid $0. I've had it for like over 10 years and posted it to Poshmark November 21st of 22 though, so that was like a while ago. And then I did share it on eBay January 22nd of this year, 24, and it sold on eBay November 18th. So it took a really long time even on eBay. It could have been just because it did have that stain, and so it just really had to find the right person that didn't mind the fact that it had a little tiny stain on the wrist. And so the person paid $17.99, and I earned a profit of $14.15. So I thought that was pretty good after the fact that I wore it a bunch. Anyways, I was pretty happy with that sale. And I was totally fine letting it sit in a box waiting for somebody to buy it. And you know, and it was a nice quality otherwise. It was really nice. So the next item is this Hoka, the 1-1 Bondi 8 women's 7.5B black. and all black. So it was like black on black. Anyways, I found this at Goodwill, and what was funny is I had gone through the shoes already, and I had gone and circled through like a couple of the aisles, and then I came back through the shoes to go to like another aisle, and I just kind of like cut through the shoe section, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but as I was cutting through, I spotted Hoka, and I was like, are you kidding me? And it was somebody, they just put it out. So I was really happy that I happened to come across it before anybody else. And so I did purchase this October 25th also, on that same trip that I went to and found Cotopaxi. So I purchased it October 25th. I paid $8. I did pay up a little bit, and I posted it October 31st to Poshmark and eBay, and it sold on Poshmark November 19th. So it just took a couple of weeks to sell and sold for $70. That gave me a profit of $48. And that does make it my best sale for this video, by the way. And I don't know if I had any more photos. There's the tag, the insides. Overall, these were in fairly good condition for runners. I know they like that, but they still had a lot of tread and everything, so it was a good pickup. I'll just put it that way. The next item is this Talbot's Petites Women's PL. I think it was petite long or large, petite large, that's what it is. And then because I put large, fall orange plaid button up long sleeve flannel. Now I've had this for a while. Probably not the best pickup ever, and I was really happy to see it go. It was slightly faded, which I put minor wear, a small hole on front right side near the arm. So I must have a picture of that too. And it was slightly faded. Oh yeah, here's the picture of the little tiny hole. So anyways, I did find that at the bins, which is why I picked it up. I probably would not have ever picked that up off a rack somewhere. But at the bins, I had seen a flannel, and I picked it up in November 10th of 23 last year. So I probably was thinking, oh, fall, and even though it was like, I was thinking like Thanksgiving's coming probably, and so it was kind of like somebody might want to wear this to Thanksgiving or to go out and get a Christmas tree or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, I picked it up. My average cost that day at the bins was $1.27, so I had $1.27 into the item, and I posted it November 13th of last year to Poshmark, and then I did post it on eBay this year, August 26th of 24. It sold on Poshmark November 20th of 24 this year, and it sold for $16, so I did earn a profit of $11.53. So I don't think it was a bad flip, but at the same time, I don't know that I would pick this up again. The next item is this Ralph Lauren Blazer Men's 48S Silk Wool Houndstooth Sport Coat. And I did also just recently pick this one up, and I will share with you. And I haven't ever really done a lot with blazers and men's coats, but I have been watching like Kaylee Elaine, some of her past videos where she's talked about them, and I've decided, every now and then I'll go down that section and look and see if I can spot some stuff that might be worth selling. And I will tell you, most of the items I picked up from this trip when I went down that aisle, I think I have one left that hasn't sold, but most of those bigger items have sold. I'm really happy that it was a good idea. It was a good learning experience for me, because I'm still learning what to pick up, what not to pick up, times of year to pick stuff up, just kind of like seasonality of the industry and that sort of thing. And I think the more you do it, the more it will come naturally to you. So I'm really happy to be learning these little tips and tricks. And if this helps somebody else, I definitely suggest it. This one was great because it had the wool and the silk blend. And, it was kind of a specialty size, so somebody out there probably was looking for that size. And anyways, I picked it up on that same October 25th trip to Goodwill, and I paid $7.15, so I did pay up a little bit. But it's a blazer for a man, so I figured that was worth it. And I posted it November 5th to Poshmark and eBay. It sold on Poshmark November 21st, so it only took a couple weeks for this one. It sold for $35, so I did earn a profit of $20.85. And I was pretty happy with that flip, because it means I'm learning how to pick up some items that will sell for more. that I will earn more from anyways. So I think it's a really good learning experience that I did that, and I'm really happy with that. So the next item is this Sally blue denim and black lace corset, and I put lace twice, but I put lace corset, lace up top, vest, women's medium. Now this item actually was a donated item. It came from a whole pile of clothes somebody donated to my daughter to go through, and then most of it she didn't want. A few of the items she did, but almost all of it she didn't want. She did take, I think it was American Eagle, or was it Abercrombie? I can't remember, but she took one of those vintage Y2K tops that I would have loved to sell. She took it and she cropped it. She cut the bottoms of it off. So it was the longer line one that is like in style, but she took it and she cropped it. I was like, wow. But that's okay. I'm glad my daughter's using it. I'm happy she got something. She likes the top part, that kind of like the sleeves, and she liked the way it fit her at the top, but she didn't like the longer length of it. I just think it's kind of funny. So anyways, so this item came from a donated item, and so I had zero invested. Posted it on October 18th to Poshmark and eBay, and as you can see, all of these items I didn't even post on Depop. It's literally, it's not, maybe I need to just start posting everything on Depop. Maybe I would get more sales if I did that. So I might not give up on Depop. I might keep trying. I just almost feel like it's such a waste of my time, you know, when I don't cross list with a program like a bot or whatever, an app that does it for you. And I just don't want to spend, even though it doesn't take that long to do, I'm already doing it to Poshmark and eBay, and I want to get onto the next item because I struggled to get my postings done every day. And I feel like it's just more time in my day that I don't, and if it's not going to like actively give me good sales, I just feel like I almost am wasting my time. So what do you guys think? Should I Depop or should I not Depop? Because I really don't know what to do in this situation. I do get occasional sales, and is it worth those occasional sales? And maybe if I were to post like all of these items that you could see, like literally this column, I didn't post it on any of these items on Depop. So if I had, maybe I would get more sales. Like, do you feel like that's a worthwhile place to post all your stuff? Like, I don't know. Tell me what you think. If you're a reseller, are you getting sales on Depop if you actively post there? Do you get a lot of sales enough that it's worth it? Maybe I'll go through and start posting all my stuff and see how much sales I get. Maybe we could do like a challenge or something and say like, if I post 100 items this month, because I think it would be pretty easy to go through and post them. I've already created the listings on Poshmark and eBay. I could literally just go copy paste. The problem is you have to go through all those like tabs and stuff and like fill all the little like the colors and and that's what takes a few extra minutes to do. But anyways, so should I or should I not continue on Depop? Should I go for it? Should I go all in and just start getting everything posted on Depop for the next year and see how many sales I get? Maybe at the end of December when I do my year-end sales, maybe we'll go with a whole year and see what happens in this next year. What do you guys think? Should I do like a year challenge and see compared to this year what I didn't really post a lot, but if I were to post everything over there, I'm sure I'll get more sales because the more items you post, you get more sales, but I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what you think. I would appreciate your input. Okay, so, and you can just put it in the little comment section at the bottom. And so, back to where we were with this little blue corset vest tank, if you want to call it a tank top. I did post it on October 18th. It sold on eBay on November 21st. It sold for $21.60. And so that gave me a profit of $17.45. The next item is this not Sally, that was the last one. Sarah, two S's, Sarah baby doll dress, size extra large, gray. I put midi, tiered, bishop sleeve, and button up on here. And it was really cute. I think it's definitely on trend, and the colors, the long sleeves, make it a really good fall going into winter piece. So I was happy to pick it up, and the sleeves were, I mean, everything about it was really cute, I think. And then pair it with like a cute pair of taller boots. It would just make a really fun outfit for this time of year. And I did get this at the Goodwill bins, which is why I did pick it up. It also had like that chambray, almost like a denim chambray feel, but it was very flowy. I think it was rayon maybe. And I paid an average cost. Okay, so I went on November 2nd. That was not that long ago. And I went to the Goodwill bins. I had an average cost of $2.25 that day. I did get a lot of a leather jacket. I got like a big puffer vest, like coat and stuff like that. That's already sold. So you'll see that coming up in probably the next video that I do what sold. And then, so I had a lot of items, which was interesting. But yeah, so my average cost was a little bit more that day. Posted it on November 20th to Poshmark and eBay, and this sold on eBay on November 21st. It sold in one day. So I thought it was a pretty good flip. Excuse me. Let it tickle in my throat. Let me grab a... Yeah. Like always, me and my colds. So it was really cold this morning. I had to take my daughter down to work in town, and it's so cold. I'm in Texas, if you're not familiar, but I'm in Central Texas, and it's really cold. It was very frosty this morning and just very, very, very chilly, and she wanted me to go get her a coffee, so I got me a coffee. So anyways, I'm still finishing it. So this little dress sold for $23, and that gave me a profit of $15.95. The next item is this core, I think it's 10, but it could be IO. I wasn't really sure. So I think it's core 10, but you tell me, is it 10 or IO? I don't know. I think it's, the way they have it is it looks like a 10. I don't know. And so it's a women's sports bra large, blue and white tie-dye, and I put strappy cutouts logo. So it does have like this racer back style, and then it had like a strappy looking back, and then these like cutouts right here, as you can see, and there's their logo. And this isn't like anything like, you know, major brand or anything that I think, I mean, I just never really heard of it too much, but for this item, I did get it from a donation, so I had zero invested, so I wouldn't have just picked this up personally, but I posted it March of 23 to Poshmark, so it's been sitting there for a good long while. And then I posted it July of 24 this year to eBay, and it sold on Poshmark November 21st for $10. So definitely not something I would have just picked up. It's not worth your time, but since I had it, I posted it. And I earned a profit of $7.05 after all that time. The next item is this Johnny Cash Music size 3X sweatshirt, and I put gray, pink, soft, oversized, draped sleeve. And I did get this at a garage sale that I had gone to, and I'll tell you the date in a minute, but it was just one of these, I think one of those brands where you can like, I want to say like Redbubble or, you know, or like just those auto ship companies where people create the design and then they post it. People can go find it and buy it on like almost like a third party system, and then it like drop ships it to the person. I think that's what this might have been, or perhaps it was purchased at like a festival or something. I don't know, but it still had this little like, I don't know, quality sticker inside of it. So obviously it had never been washed. It was really soft and it looked brand new. So I'm gonna guess that somebody did buy this, possibly wore it home from whatever event they were at, or they bought it online and decided they didn't like it, or it didn't fit right. I'm not sure. And I don't think it was ever worn, but maybe once. And so anyways, it was a really nice, fun, pretty design, oversized, and I picked it up. So I did get this at the garage sale October 12th of this year. I paid $5. Posted it on October 14th to Poshmark and eBay. It sold on eBay November 23rd. It sold for $26.99. That gave me a profit of $16.46. And I don't do a lot of garage selling. I would love to, but I don't live in towns, and where I'm at, I usually don't have cash. But we did just open up bank accounts So I should be able to go into my little town on a Saturday morning in the summertime if there's garage sales, and I can get some cash so that I can go shop, because they don't always accept like Zelle or Venmo or whatever. Like it's sometimes you have to have the cash. So anyways, and especially where I live. So the next item is this Valerie Stevens black rabbit fur shawl wrap with front ties. I put stunning because it was really beautiful, to be honest. I really thought this was gorgeous materials. It was not faded. It was in perfect condition. And it had this like black satiny inside, and then the tie that comes down was black satin, and it was just absolutely really pretty. But the fur was so soft, and I don't just pick up stuff, but you know, I don't really agree with it, but at the same time, I don't personally have a problem with some, I don't know, like, people eat rabbits produce, I'm not saying that it's humane to do that, but at the same time, we eat cows, we eat, like, I'm not going to go into that whole thing. This item was not something I personally went out, so if you're against fur sellers, I'm just letting you know. I am picking up stuff that's already been done, and, you know, it's going to go to a landfill, and it's better to pull it out of this mass market of overproduced items and give it to somebody or get it to somebody that will be able to use the item, because it's already done, been there, done that. And it's not like I'm the one personally going out and doing it, making these items. I'm just reselling it so it doesn't end up in a landfill. And that would be a much more disgrace to the animal that gave up its life. Let's just put it that way. So it was really pretty, and I picked this up at, oops, I'm clicking the wrong things again, at the Goodwill bins. So can you imagine going to the bins, knowing that it's going to go to a landfill if it doesn't get pulled out, and finding a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous 100% fur. Anyway, so yes, I mean, I think a lot of people are just going to go ahead and get it, but a lot of people didn't. It was still sitting in the bin. So I got this November 10th of last year in 23. My average cost was $1.27 per item. I posted it November 21st of 23 last year to Poshmark. I never actually posted it on eBay, so I hadn't gone back through. I have a few boxes that I haven't actually gone back through and like pulled stuff out, and so it's like old stuff. There's stuff that I need to pull out and donate because I know that it's not worth posting, but I need to pull it out because it's from when I first started, and a lot of it was like donated items. So I'm gonna get to those boxes eventually. I haven't done it yet, but actually I might work on that in the next week. But anyways, so this item finally sold on Poshmark November 24th of this year, so it took over a year, about a year exactly, and it sold for $35, so I did earn a profit of $26.73. The next item is an Xbox remote that my husband switched to PlayStation, so this was actually his favorite remote. He was telling me, I love this remote, but his Xbox was kind of starting to act up. He decided to go ahead and part out everything and go with a PlayStation 4, which we got 2 PlayStation 4s so that he and I can play together sometimes. We still need to buy some games though, because once we get the games, and then we can hook that all up. But he's already been playing on the PlayStation 4 that he put up. So this item I went ahead and posted, and it was the first one to sell. And just so you know, if you're not an Xbox, like, he did open up. He's very, very, very much smart with like opening up electronical stuff and fixing things. Like, his grandfathers, like, they were very smart people. So anyways, we had a box for it, and then I did post that it was, you know, opened up, and he had done, I think, something to it. He was telling me, I don't remember. Let me see if I posted. Replaced the front finger trigger button panel, and also replaced the toggles. So yeah, so he would replace like the little parts that go to the controller. He would buy the parts online and like fix it. But yeah, that's why this, like, if you break this seal, then you know, if it's got this puncture right here, and I don't know if you can see that, but right here on the back, in order to open it up to replace stuff like that, you have to puncture it. So if you ever are selling an Xbox, like a controller, and it has that, just know that somebody else had actually opened it up. So that's how they know it's been messed with. So anyways, I did make the note that we did do that. So it was disclosed, and I posted it. So I had zero invested in it. It was my husband's, and I posted it on eBay November 21st. It sold November 25th for $39.99, and I earned a profit of $33.03. And I do have a couple more controllers on there. We have a basic black one that I'm selling with a case, and then we have the green one. And we are going into GameStop this week, so we might just go ahead and delist them, take them in, and just like trade them in at GameStop, because we're gonna go get some PlayStation games. So I might just do that because he thinks we can get like $20 per controller. So it's probably, and since they're more basic and not as popular as the purple one, I think the green one I could, if I hold out, I could still get around 30 to 40. So I might just have them take the black one in, maybe. Anyways. Okay. So anyways, moving on. Star Wars beanie, toddler, kids. I put one OS, I guess one size. R2-D2 winter pom-pom blue, white ski snow hat. Wow. That was a tongue twister. And I should not have picked this item up. I don't know what I was thinking. But yet I did pick it up. So that would be me. It was really clean and really cute. Definitely cute. I picked this up at Goodwill on that October 25th trip. So even though I picked up some really good things, I did pick this up too. Not a smart pickup. I paid $3.20 for this item. Posted it on October 30th to Poshmark and eBay, and it sold on Poshmark November 27th for $7. So I earned a whole whopping 85 cents. So don't pick those up, okay? It's a big mistake. The next item is Old Navy mustard yellow sweater, women's medium, golden autumn fall harvest, and I put thin because it was a thinner material, and it had a really nice, it was just a very nice looking sweater, thin sweater for somebody who likes that coloring. And I did get this from a donation, so I had zero invested. I posted it back in July of 23 to Poshmark, and then I also posted it in June of this year, 24, to eBay. And it finally sold on November 29th on eBay for $16. So I did earn a profit of $12.55. It did take a while, but it finally came through. The next item, which is my last item, and I will share that with you in a minute. Let me see if it's going to load. It's not going to load, is it? Let me refresh it. Maybe that'll like redo it. Okay, let me go back to that one that I accidentally closed out of. And it's this one. And as you can say, she rated me 3 stars. Most of my people give me 5 stars. Almost everybody. I've had a few times recently with some interesting people. Let's put it that way. So this one is a Nautica jacket, women's size medium. And I put black puffer hoodie, full zip coat, and pockets. And as you can see, it looks very nice. It was not faded. I didn't see hardly anything wrong with it. You could tell it was worn a little bit. But overall, it didn't look like it had a lot of, like, anything going on with it. It had the little wrist cuffs with the thumb tabs for, like, skiers, I think, so hold their sleeves down. It had the toggles. I mean, just overall, it was in pretty good condition. Maybe worn for a season. And I didn't see anything wrong with this jacket. But I think her review said there was a hole. Anyways, and I didn't see any hole. But she said there was a hole and she rated me 3 stars. So I was like, okay. But she kept the jacket. So she said it was still overall whatever, but she rated me 3 stars for having a hole. Okay. It was missing the material tag. The material tag was cut out. So I couldn't really go with material that was on the inside of this. But it is what it is, and it comes with the territory of being a reseller. So I just kind of brushed it along, moved on with my life. So I picked this up at a flea market. I went with a friend to a flea market, and I'd never been to this flea market. It's a pretty big one that we have near my home. And I picked it up on September 14th, posted it. Oh, sorry, I paid $10 at the flea market. I thought that I might be able to sell it for more than I did, but whatever. So I posted it September 16th to Poshmark and eBay, and it sold on Poshmark November 18th for $22. So I did earn $7.06. Probably not worth my 3-star rating, but that's okay. I just didn't know. Like I thought it looked good. I didn't see any holes, so I really wish I don't know. I don't know what she was talking about. So whatever. Okay, let's move on to the last one. And then the very last item is this Lulu's red pencil midi dress, women's small, fitted, bodycon, and I put shoulder strap and slit. This dress, I don't know how you I think you have to have a mannequin to really give it a good, and I might have to invest in a mannequin at some point, because there are items that it's really hard to if you're going to use the hanger method like I do and hang it on the wall, which works the best for me. But maybe I know there are those hanging half a mannequin, it's like a hanger, but it has a bust shape, which might be great for swimsuits too. I have been looking at those. Do you think that would be sufficient, or do you think that I really need to get? I think I might just start with that and see if that helps, because this dress would have been great if you could put it on a bust and have the boobs kind of fill out the little chest area, because I literally had to hold it up to say this is what it looks like, because it draped down because of anyways. It's just one of those things you have to learn how to do as a reseller. Now, I did get this item thinking my daughter would wear it. It was her size, and it fit her perfectly. I made her try it on, and it was so beautiful on her. But yet she was like, I'm not going to wear this. I don't have anywhere to wear it to. I was like, you're going to a university. Their color is red and black. And I was like, on top of that, when I bought it, which was at the end of May, she was still going to her FCCLA Nationals competition, and their color is red. They wear red uniforms essentially. So I was like, maybe and they have parties and stuff they go to, and I was like, this would be perfect for that. And so I had picked it up into my mindset thinking my daughter can use this item, and it fit her, but she just chose she didn't want to use it. She didn't have anything to use it for, so I went ahead and posted it. So I picked it up at a thrift shop in Dallas back in May 4th, and I paid $5. And I posted it July 26th to Poshmark and eBay, and it sold on Poshmark November 30th for $20. So I did earn a profit of $11. And I did pick it up knowing if she wouldn't use it that I could post it. But anyway, so that was my last item. It definitely would make a cute Christmas dress too, and so I have a feeling that somebody picked it up for a Christmas party or something like that, which I'm really happy it's going to somebody that can use it. But that is it for the month of November, and it is December 21st. I can't believe it took this long to get here. Wow, I just said that and it reminded me. I'm going to share my grand totals with you, and if you want to stick around, I'll tell you a fun story about my family. Not fun. That was sarcasm. So the total that I earned for, let's see, I'll start here. So the amount that I had invested for the entire month of November, I had invested $97.36 in the items I sold this month in November. The total gross sales came to $989.81. That's before that's for eBay it includes shipping and then stuff like that. And then my total buyer's tax was $30.42. Not that matters to you guys. The total sales fees, so the amount that I had to pay to the platforms, the amount that they took was $169.61. And then there's shipping fees that I don't pay, but it did, essentially that's the amount off eBay where it gives me, because on Poshmark it doesn't give you the shipping, the buyer pays shipping, and on eBay the buyer pays shipping, but they put it in their gross, if that makes any sense. So I do have a line that separates it right here. So this gives me a net after fees grand total of $557.82 profit that I earned for the month. Of course, then you still have to pay taxes on that. Keep that in mind. And then you need to be able to pay yourself and reinvest money back into the business. So I've been pretty consistent, earning right around that 500 to 600 range for the last, I want to say mostly for the last 6 months, maybe 4, 5, 6 months, on and off. So I have been consistent. At the end of the December, when I do my December year end, I will go over things that I've learned and things that I am working on in the year of 2025. So I'll give you a little bit of a recap that way. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that video, which won't be for like several weeks because I haven't done my beginning of December. I've only got I've sold more than this, but I haven't posted them on my December spreadsheet yet. So I sold a total of 36 items this month, so not a lot. I know there's people out there that are selling hundreds. I sold 36, which for part-time I think is pretty good. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and share a really quick little story about my family just because the date reminded me, which I knew in the back of my mind, but thank you for watching. If you want to head out now, or if this is how far you wanted to come, you don't have to watch the rest of it. But I appreciate everybody and thank you so much. Just to kind of tell you the little story about the date, December 21st is the day before my middle daughter's birthday. She is turning 21 tomorrow, and the night before she turned 16, so 5 years ago, my oldest daughter was 18 at the time, and we had just moved here that year to Texas. We moved here. Basically, we moved here in August, so we had been here from August to December, and my oldest daughter drove, and she got herself a job in town at Family Dollar, and she was working, I think, just part-time, and so she drove herself into town and she'd come home and tell me about her day and do all the teenage girly stuff. So she walked in the house. She drove home. It's like a 10 to 15 minute drive. So she drove home, and she hadn't been feeling good that day. She asked to leave work early that day. She hadn't been feeling great and said she had a headache, and she was going to come home, dye her hair. She bought herself hair dye. She had bought Cheetos. And she was going to come home and dye her hair because Nellie's birthday, my middle daughter, her birthday's the next day. And then she's turning 16, and we were going to do a party and stuff. So she had her plans set. So she comes walking in the door after work. She comes in. I'm on my game. I'm playing my game on my phone. And so I'm just sitting on my bed, chillaxing. It's what time do they close? It's 10 or 11 at night. I'll just put it that way. It wasn't earlier than that. It was pretty late. So she starts telling me about her day, how she wasn't feeling good, and just all this stuff. And she was telling me some story, and she was being very dramatic. That's my daughter. So she was very her face and everything. She was very I don't know, what do you call it? It's not dramatic and it's not whatever, but she was just very exuberant. She was just talking and talking and talking, and that kind of bubbly is, I guess, the word. So she was doing that, and then this daughter is known to be dramatic, and my oldest daughter, she is definitely the one that's oh, I don't feel good, kind of a thing. So I'm playing my game, but I'm listening to her, and she kind of did this ooh kind of thing, and she kind of I don't know, but it was instant, and I thought she was doing the whole I'm not feeling good, I'm gonna faint kind of a thing. That's because I wasn't really looking at her, I was listening to her. But I looked up because she slumped kind of backwards against the wall, because I was in my bed and the wall's kind of right there, and she slumped against the wall. And I looked at her, and I saw that her whole face, it was she fainted. Her face, there was no animation left on her face at all. And I was like, holy crap, you know, and I threw my phone on the bed and I jumped up out of bed so fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, and I grabbed her as she was falling to the ground. And when she got onto the ground, like it was very, very fast. I'll just say that. Like the second, like I grabbed her so she didn't hit the ground really hard, and she was on the ground at this point, and I realized she was not responding at all, and she instantly started to turn blue, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I turned and her urine, like this is very graphic, too much information, but this happened so fast, you guys. And her urine just came out and it was everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's when it clicked. This is extremely, extremely serious situation going on right now. Because at first I thought she was being dramatic. Then I realized something was wrong and I thought she had just fainted for some strange reason, which she's never done before. In my mind, I couldn't process it. It was so fast. It was like literally there and then gone. So I start screaming to my husband. He's in the living room, and you know, husbands are like, why is my wife screaming at me? I was screaming, you need to come in here like now, you know, and stuff. And he came in and we called 911, and my husband started doing CPR, which my husband doesn't know anything about medical stuff, but we had been watching like the TV series 911. Was fairly new, the first one. It had come out, maybe it was still fairly new at that time. We had been watching 911. We've watched a lot of medical stuff over the years, you know, all the medical dramas and stuff, but essentially 911, he said, is the only thing he ever saw where they did CPR and stuff. So he started doing CPR because, you guys, we live in the middle of nowhere, it feels like. We live 10 minutes drive from town. In our little town, no hospitals, no doctors for the most part, nothing. And so we called 911 and they're like, okay, we're going to send somebody. And my husband did CPR for 20 minutes before they made it to our house. My other girls, my two younger, her younger sisters. So obviously my middle one was 15 turning 16. And my younger daughter, Shayla, the one that's in college now, she was about probably like 12 at that point. She would have turned 13 the next year, so she was probably still 12 at that point. And we sent them down the driveway because we have this long driveway. We're on a highway, but there's no lights. Like, you're out in the country. It makes it really hard to find the house, you know. So we sent them out with go try to flag down the ambulance kind of a thing. Anyways, to try to like shorten this up because it's a really long story. This whole time she wasn't responding. She was just out. And like I would be like, Tia, and trying to like rub her chest and trying to like, and my husband was doing CPR at that point, but I was trying to like rub her head, I guess, and her hands were like, everything just was white or blue. It was crazy. The ambulance came into the situation thinking that they were being sent to a different call. Like, apparently within a 45-minute period, 911 got 3 fairly serious calls, or what they thought, but they did not realize that this was as serious. They thought they were going to like a drunk driver or something that had hit a ditch. And when they walked in, because I think they figured that out, they weren't at the right call when it was at a house and not in a ditch. But by that point they were there, so they came in and they were like, what's going on? And then they realized my husband's literally trying to do CPR and keep Tia alive. And so they took over, of course, and they had to shock her heart like multiple times. Basically, her heart stopped. It wasn't a heart attack. Her heart just stopped. And by the grace of God, I was praying and praying, but they shocked her heart. They got her to at least to her heart going again, got her on a stretcher, got her into the ambulance, and they sat in our driveway over an hour. And the thing is where we live, like I said, we're so far away. With how serious it is, she had to be life flighted. It's too far to drive her and be able to keep her stable or whatever for that far of a distance. It's like an hour's drive to get to the closest trauma center. So, anyways, long story short, I'm trying to make this long story short. So, over an hour, and I was praying and praying and praying, you guys. I know it was by the grace of God that she survived that. There's no other way. She survived it and she's in university herself now. She came out of that. Well, let's just say they had her in the ambulance for an hour. They wouldn't put her on the helicopter transportation system until she was stable. And so they got her, after all that time, they got her stable enough to get on the helicopter. They had to get the helicopter to come. They had to land on the highway. And they drove her down to the helicopter, and then they got her over to our local trauma center. We had to drive in the car, which took, like I said, it's over an hour's drive one way. And we had no idea what was going on with her at that point. So it was very traumatizing, and my computer's blacking out. It was very traumatizing. And she basically... we got there, and I think the worst part is we got there and they put us in a little room, like a family room, like a conference room kind of a thing, with like some chairs and a Bible. And you see that in movies and TV shows, and you're thinking the worst immediately. That's the first thing you think of, is the worst has happened and they're going to come in and tell us she passed away. And so anyways, we were very blessed. We got told they've got her stable. They've got her all hooked up to tubes and stuff. They wanted to basically prep us that when they took us in to show us Tia that she is out, like she is not responsive and she's hooked up to machines. So they took us in there, and that's what we saw. She's completely hooked up to machines. And this happened in the middle of the night. So by the time we got there at the hospital, it's now the 22nd of December in the morning, like at 2 in the morning. And we didn't want to come an hour home because this is so serious of a situation. You don't want to leave, but you're tired. And so we ended up going and getting a hotel room in town so we could be close if we needed to run back to the hospital. Anyway, so that was like really traumatizing. She ended up in the ICU, essentially the critical care unit, for about a week and a half, I want to say. It was over Christmas, so it was on my middle daughter's 16th birthday, and then over Christmas. And she had no 100% diagnosis of why that happened. This was also pre-COVID, so it wasn't due to the COVID vaccine. I do think that her heart problems might have started because of the HPV, the Gardasil vaccine, because she had started feeling heart issues. So the HPV Gardasil vaccine is 3 shots, and before that, I've never had a problem with getting vaccines. None at all. My whole life, I've always done whatever. I never really thought about it, looked into it. To me, it's like, it's tested true. Like, I'm going to do what they suggest. I'm not the one that's going to be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I just never was one that would look into it too much. Well, I never even thought of it back then either. I never even questioned it until this happened to Tia. And after the second of the 3 doses, within 1 month, I had taken her to her primary care doctor for chest pain. They did send her in for a heart test, and they did an EKG, and they did tell her there's a little tiny blip. So, nothing serious. We did see a little something on your thing. Maybe we should just keep an eye on it. Just if you ever experience anything, let us know. So that was it. That was all the symptoms and signs that we had leading up until this point. They thought she had asthma. They decided, well, you have asthma, so let's give you some asthma medication. So she took asthma meds for a couple years. Nothing ever happened when she took it. She did feel a little bit better occasionally, but I don't know. Anyways, I was very blessed that she survived. It was very traumatic experience. It was on Christmas. The McDonald's house, they luckily had it like in a little apartment at our hospital. It's in the hospital, a couple floors from where Tia was at. And it had 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, laundry, and a bathroom. And nobody else. Usually what they do is they don't let any children stay there. They only let the parents stay there. And nobody was in the second room. So they let our kids, they kind of fudged the rules because it was Christmas. They let our 2 girls stay there. So we did stay there for several days. And we were there over Christmas, all as a family together. And they brought us Christmas gifts. They brought us like gift cards for food. They gave us vouchers for the hospital food. Like, they took care of us, which was such a blessing. I'm going to cry for the second video in a row. It was a very good blessing. And oh gosh, you guys, I wasn't planning to do all that. This is turning into like the longest story ever. And I did not try to do this video. That's why I cut off. So if you're here listening to my long story, thank you. But anyways, it was such a blessing. But Tia, they put a ICD. It's kind of like a pacemaker, but essentially if her heart stops, it should shock her heart, so that way it would kickstart it going again. And apparently it will save people that have had that happen. She wishes we never did that, but at that point she was 18 and she wasn't awake to make her own decision. She also didn't have a medical directive of any kind on file because she's 18. Like, you don't think about that kind of stuff. So we had to make the decision, and we didn't know what was going on. We didn't have a diagnosis, and we had to make a decision immediately. So she's stuck with it for life. No matter what, she's going to have to take care of it, and they have to go in and like put a new battery in it every 10 years or less, depending on when it runs low. That's scary stuff, you guys. They think she has Spragata, but I don't think she does. They did genetic testing. They couldn't prove it. It's still a fairly new thing that they're still researching. So they say, well, we don't 100% know if we can guarantee that it's that. I personally think it's just repercussions of a vaccine. I think it's vaccine injury, but the way that our country works, if you get a vaccine injury, you have 1 year to file with VARS that you were vaccine injured. And the thing is we didn't even know that. The doctors aren't going to tell you, oh, maybe you got a vaccine injury from taking this vaccine. So, and she didn't have this happen for a couple years after she got the doses. So by the time a major incident happened, it's too late. So she didn't get anything from the government for this vaccine injury, which she could have got thousands of dollars to help, but nothing. So anyways, it took her 3 years after that to kind of recover. She had PTSD for years. She couldn't go to a grocery store. The beeping and the sounds like freaked her out. She would have like breakdowns. She is now recovered to the point where she's back in Oregon, where we're from, and she is at a university, and she's doing pretty good. She is in therapy. She has been doing a lot better than she used to. Fire alarms, or when they do their emergency like testing of the fire alarms, can trigger something, but overall she's doing pretty good. I'm really proud of her, and she is back to herself. There was a point where her memory, when she first came out of the induced coma that they had her in, where she couldn't, it was like a loop, like Groundhog's Day. It was like she couldn't remember things. It took a good 2 days, I think, for her memory to fully come to a point where she could remember. She can't remember the situation or that day really, but she can remember stuff now. But she kept, like, for like the first 2 days, we thought she was going to be mentally brain damaged, because for like every 3 to 5 minutes she was asking us, where am I, what's going on? Like, she was asking us that. After like a couple hours, like 6 hours, she had progressed to like 20 minutes memory, and then an hour or two before she would forget it all. But her brain took, I think, a few days to like heal, essentially. And thank God, by the grace of God, she does not have any brain damage, because being without oxygen and being without a heartbeat for that long, and the fact that my husband had to do CPR for 20 minutes when he's not trained in CPR, it's like there's no other proof that God saved her except for this. So anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that because this is now an hour video, which I try not to do these long hour videos. I thought this was gonna be a 30-minute video, and here we are. So anyways, thank you guys for watching my what sold video and supporting me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for following, and all my new followers, if you made it and watched all of this, thank you. I don't normally go into like personal stories like that, but I figured it was, you know, today is December 21st. Today is the day she officially had that happen 5 years ago. So yeah, I'm just really proud of her for how far she's come, and we're getting through it. Yeah, so I hope you guys all have a Merry Christmas, because I probably won't have another video before Christmas happens this year. So thank you for watching this, supporting me. I hope you guys have a great Christmas season, and I will get another video posted for you probably by next weekend. I do need to go pick up some more items to sell. I've been working through some donated items. I have a few things I had picked up that I wasn't sure if I was going to post, and then I've been going through some boxes my mom sent me of random stuff that was interesting because, like for instance, like this little like clock that she got for volunteering, and it's from Intel. She worked at Intel in Oregon. This little thing she sent me, and I was trying to research it and see if it's even worth it, but it's like a calculator and Rolodex, I think. It says it's a calendar, an alarm clock, a calculator, and a world time. It can show the world time, and then you can open it up here, and you can put like some little thing here and a picture if you want to put a picture in it. And I don't know, I was researching it. I don't know that I'm going to sell it, but maybe somebody out there wants this because it's in really good condition, and it's just like this vintagey, old-fashioned thing that they used to put on their desks. But she also gave me this item. Let me grab it, and I'm going to share it with you. Put it here. So my mom worked at Intel as a janitor. She would clean the fabs that they do the microchips in and stuff. And she would have to put on this like bunny suit. It's like a big, huge, like what you see in like the chemical, the people where you work with chemicals. So you have to be completely covered in these suits. But she would have to put this on and then go clean. And anyway, so she worked there for quite a while. She was there when they did this. They gave them these little commemorative clock things, like desk clocks. And it says Intel's 4004, the world's first microprocessor. And it was from 1971 to 1996, 25th anniversary. And it has the world's first microprocessor right here on the face of this little thing. So if you ever run across one of these, which are pretty rare because they only gave them to the employees. And my mom was working there, even though she wasn't making processors, but she did work there. And it came with this little card that says like the story of it, and then it has Intel right here. So anyways, I was going through this. My mom sends me random stuff because she's downsizing. As she's getting older, she's trying to downsize and get stuff that she doesn't need. She's very minimalistic that way. So she's had stuff that she liked, you know, for quite a long time, and now she's just downsizing everything. So she keeps giving all her stuff to that she thinks is worthwhile or whatever, and she says, I don't care what you do with it. You can sell it, you can keep it, whatever. She doesn't care. So I bubble wrapped it, I put it in here, and I posted it yesterday. But when I looked up comps for this, I couldn't believe it, you guys. People are selling these for $300 to $400, which is crazy that I've had it sitting in a box under my bed for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. So yeah, I don't need it. I don't have any emotional interest in keeping it, and somebody out there will really like the history of that item, and all the power to them. I'm gonna sell it, and when I earn the money, I'm going to buy my mom a gift card for something she can use, because she is getting older and she could use the money. So we could all use the money, but she could use the money, and she can use it for groceries or whatever. So I will buy her a gift card and let her use that on stuff that she actually needs, because she would never do the eBay thing. Anyways, so I just thought that was a pretty interesting thing. So if you ever find that, pick it up, because even if it's like $25, because you could resell it for like $300 at least. All right, well, I'm gonna get off now. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Merry Christmas. Bye.